Welcome to Dungeon Port Studios. This is Caprinigh, and we're back playing C14 Dating. It's been a while. I recently got stuck playing the new Story Seasons game, and looks like where we last left off, I did the schedule, so we'll just hit play. And, yep, okay. Oh, chocolate hazelnut, you're worth the extra insulin. When I was done, I rolled the bread up and bit the end. My mouth glued shut as I chewed while the spread smeared my cheek. Glad I was eating breakfast alone. I was being sloppy. Ooh. Bonjour. Guess we're not alone. Someone lightly picked me on one cheek. The person immediately pulled back, and I hastily rubbed my face while he did the same. Ugh, DeAndre, I was stuffing my face. At least warn me next time before you kiss me. Or just not do it. I know I wouldn't like if someone just randomly did that to me. I don't even like my own friends and family doing that. Stuff like that to me. I could say the same. What was left to kiss anyway? It's how we greet friends. Usually the cheek kissing goes a little smoother than this one. He had my breakfast and snorted teasingly. Cute, Mel. Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting everyone to arrive so soon. Did you drive here? We take the train. It only stops here every half an hour, so you either arrive early or slightly late. Before I could question the we, DeAndre tapped the side of his cheek. You still have some? You too. Still, did you dunk your face into? I did not. Your timing was just atrocious. Oh, this is cute. While we were both cleaning ourselves, I noticed Tyler observing us with a deadpan expression. He frowned in disgust and disappeared around the corner with his belongings. DeAndre sighed, rubbing his temples like he had an impending headache. I'm gonna assume they don't get along. We haven't really interacted with Tyler too much, have we, so far? I don't think he likes me. Something happened? Well, do you remember that rowdy night? We went to bed early, so, well, a bunch of us started playing catch. I may or may not have nailed Kyler in the head with the ball. It was an accident, so I feel like Kyler shouldn't get too angry, but at the same time, I am, like, really scared, like, actually legit scared of playing playing sports where people are throwing stuff. Like, balls around. Like, I'm so scared. Dodgeball is kind of the exception, except for, I remember there was this group of guys at church when I was younger who, like, they were very rough when they played dodgeball. They would, like, throw the ball so hard that I don't think it was even safe to watch. Ugh. Was he okay? Yeah, he was fine, if upset. I tried to apologize, but he wouldn't hear of it. Now he probably thought I was shamelessly flirting with you like some full-time playboy. Oh, he wasn't? At least a little bit? Oh, you aren't? Part-time. Kyler seems to be the type where first impressions are everything. I think you're right. He seemed to tolerate me once he learned I was serious about archaeology. Oh yeah, you two work in the same location. About the ball incident. Oh, I don't know. I feel like whichever one we choose, it'll end up like, I don't know. There's potential to really embarrass ourselves, and I don't know. I can't handle anything that embarrassing. I suffer so badly from secondhand embarrassment. So, are we gonna volunteer to talk to Kyler? Ask if DeAndre will talk to Kyler. Since these two don't get along, it might go smoother if we talk to Kyler about it, but he might think it's weird. Kyler. And also, would he? How would he? I don't know. He seems pretty chill, so I don't know. But, I don't know. I don't know. Let's just do the talk to Kyler. We hardly interact with Kyler anyways, even though we do stuff together. Like, we're supposed to be in the same little square or whatever. Leave it to me. My square is next to his anyway, so I'll be able to talk to Kyler anytime. Really? It's not a big deal, but let him know I apologize for that. Okay, so far it's not awkward yet, so that's good. But if could possibly give when talking to Kyler. Who knows? There's only one way to find out. A few other students trickled in and I finished my breakfast before there were any more mishaps. Anyway, where did you stay this weekend? I furiously chewed my oversized portion, but DeAndre flashed me a patient, I'll-wait smile. Coughing, I simply tapped the table since I couldn't talk. Here? How was it? I survived. Oh, I don't like being alone. I don't know if I could. At the same time, I like being alone. I like being alone, but at the same time, I don't like it. Okay, when a car pulled in, I knew Augustin and Sherry had arrived. I waved to them and they got out, although inwardly I wanted to whine to Augustin about the whole ghost thing. After Sherry and I greeted each other, she handed my journal back. Be sure to read the comments in the journal when you have time. It'll give you an idea of how you're performing. Ah, cool. Thank you, I will. Also, since this is your second week here, you now have the option to pick lab work if you'd like. Yeah! I'll notify Hendrik. He applies the lab. He handles. Why did I think I even said apply? He handles the lab 101 here, and I can explain the procedures to you. Nice, it seems my options have opened up. Yay! But we already did the schedule thing, so we don't have to worry about that, at least for this week. There sure are a lot of stuff and tools here. I perked up as Hendrik tapped the whiteboard with his prosthetic fingers, his speech continuing in French. Oh no, we don't really know French. His lecture was occasionally interrupted with polite giggles or groans, and he would grin at the reaction. Hendrik loved to deliver puns in any language, I mused. Once the explanation wrapped up, people collected plastic bags, each with a sheet inside. Some barely contained any material, while others had huge bones encased in tinfoil. Ooh! I grabbed a decently sized one with mostly smaller items and fished out the fish along with a wrapped item. Is this your first time doing lab work? Yes, Sherry's gone over the procedures with a slide presentation, but it's different seeing it all up close. If you'd like, I can clarify a few things. I thought it'd be easier to do a little one-on-one instead of repeating myself in both languages and taking up more time. Oh, makes sense. So, there's a lot of options. So what do we do essentially? Can you break down the lab process in the simplest form? Clean objects, document them, repeat. That's it. When you've worked with many students with varying degrees of interest in archaeology, it helps to be concise. It's my own take on the KISS principle. Keep it simple for a student. Oh, I like that. How to clean the items. There's so many tools used to clean. What's the general routine? He leaned over and pointed to the plastic bowl with a sieve placed over it. Depending on how dirty the item is, use this to wash the majority of the soil off. Ooh. If it's a bone, please don't let it stay submerged for too long or it'll become saturated. It will end up damaging the object, especially if it's already cracked or flaking. I learned about how to clean fleshed remains in my forensics class not too long ago. Oh, that's fun. So, other times you simply need to dunk a brush into the water if you're only cleaning a small section. Be sure to dry it thoroughly using a paper towel or a lint-free cloth. Whether you use that step or not, it's on to using brushes and craft sticks. Sticks! They're great for scraping muck off without scratching the remains. Oh yeah, I also learned that you want to more use wooden tools rather than metal because you want to, you don't want to damage it. I'm partial to craft sticks myself, but everyone has their own preference. If you use a brush, be gentle and don't scrub too hard. And there's toothpicks, which are useful for cleaning teeth or porous items. If the object is relatively clean to begin with and doesn't need water, you can simply brush the dirt off. Be careful though, some bones are too fragile to wash or clean. Use your judgment. There'll be a little trial and error at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Don't worry, I won't get bit if a bone falls apart, says the geologist. What if I drop a rock? Handle those with extreme care, please. I guess he had some preference. I will, I promise. Okay, why a nib pen? I picked up the ink bottle and gave him an uncertain look. Oh, like with it feathered? I guess not feathered, but like, you know. But the kind where you dip it into ink. Why these? It looks like it'll be a messy process and I've never used a nib pen before. It stays on the bone or stone better than a regular ink pen regardless of surface, and you have better control over the writing. Will you really? I hate writing in pen. I hate it because I feel like it makes my handwriting look super messy. Maybe I'm just freaking out too much in my head because it's more permanent than pencil. I'm terrible at describing how to use one. I think if you hold it slightly lower than a regular pen and slightly pull, the ink should flow out evenly. Obviously, don't dunk the nib into the ink bottle like cookies and milk. Also, follow the number style I've written on the board. I think this guy has a sweet tooth, because not only did he talk about, did he describe like the geology stuff like to cake layers, but he also said something about cookies and milk. I bet he's got a real big sweet tooth. I turned my head, setting the 1 to 9 that went down in a vertical column. The 3 was flat at the top, and the 7 had an extra line in the middle of it. The 1 had the little hook at the top with a foundation. Is it to keep everything more consistent? Nah, and we don't panic if a number fades. See? He approached the board and wrote a bubbly A. He then wiped half of it, turning it into a 3. This is why. Same with a 7. If we lose a part of it, we won't mistake it for a 1 due to the line in the middle. It's extremely important to be able to identify its number. Yep, when you're done jotting down the fiche number and year, don't forget to coat it with a thin layer of clear nail polish to protect the ink. Ooh. Make sure you let the ink dry first, or it'll become all blurry. Oh no. What happens if I mess up? I have a feeling whiteout won't help here. And then this is the fun part. You can use the nib to scrape off the ink. Oh, we can? I don't recommend using it multiple times over the same surface though. Then you'll end up destroying the very item we're trying to preserve. What if the object is impossible to write on due to its size? Then place it in the tray cup along with the written piece of paper that came with it. Although try your best to write in a partial line since it's possible to lose the paper over time. Please write neatly so I don't end up cursing your name next year when I get around to them. Gonna take that long? Okay, we just talked about this, so the tools. Can you sum up each tool and its use for me? Sorry if there's overlap. It's fine, it's important to clarify. There's the water, the sieve, and the bowl for washing. Other instruments include brushes, and craft sticks, toothpicks, cloth and paper for drying, paper towels, not just paper, that's different. And when it's all written down and coated with nail polish, you can drop the items in the cups set up on the trays over there. He pointed to row upon row of wooden trays, each with cups super glued to the surface. Some had bigger containers for the obviously larger objects too. That way they'll dry out in the sun. I'll take care of everything when the lab work is done, so you don't have to worry about the rest. Okay, any other tips you can think of? Yep. Other than what I've told you, just be gentle and use your best judgment. Don't mix up the items, please, and be sure to clean up the utensils when you're all done. Okay? Don't these things get contaminated? Isn't it harder to extract DNA after you wash them? Plus we're touching with our bare hands. Even just breathing while you're digging contaminates exposed material. It's virtually impossible to avoid tainting samples unless you catch it early while excavating. We'd rather have items clean so we can identify their morphology or possible Neanderthal manipulation of these items. Like burnt bone, cuts in bone from flint, tool manufacturing. The stuff I hope avoided ending up in a wet screening process and has its context marked and identified on the document. Is it me or am I just having trouble reading this sentence? Okay, but we're good. We went through everything. Gene, probably. I don't know. I'll mostly be helping out in the lab, working alongside the other students. Hendrik? Could you supervise my first cleaning? Of course, I know lab stuff can be tough. Okay, I understood that one. Here we have our tools. Yep. Remember that we're dealing with... Oh! Yay! I almost forgot about the mini games. It'd be too time consuming to clean each one perfectly. The idea is to make the object recognizable. Luckily, you're cleaning a piece of chart. So let's wash it off in the thieves. Let's pick tools to get close to the target force as possible. Each tool has a different force. Hover over each tool to see what it's been selected. Okay. Cloth. Okay, bucket. As you can see, it revealed a number. The tool's force. I guess that's the 9. This will only happen in the first tool selected. There we go. I'm going to use the cloth to wipe it down. Oh, so it's going to be like a bit of chance. It's going to be a bit of a gamble if we only see the force in the first tool. There we go. I'm going to use the cloth to wipe it down. Now select the cloth tool. Although you can't see the rest of the tool's forces, their number, their values will always go lowest to highest from top left to bottom right. So 9, 7, 4, 3, 2. Okay. 9, 7, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. Okay. It looks pretty clean now. Just a bit of dirt in the crevices. Is this what we're supposed to be doing? I don't know. This just looks like dirt. You can select up to as many tools as you want. However, for this tutorial, you can only pick 3 in total. Choose your last tool. Toothpick, brush, or... Well, let's just try the craft stick. Compare it. We got it? 20. So, we got it. But this is like, tutorial, so that's not too weird. Great job, you will unlock new journal entries and stat bonuses whenever you get good results. But don't let your stress get too high, else you won't get as many chances to clean. Yeah, done. Okay, dry it off before writing on it. I feel there's a bit of luck involved. That's what I was just thinking. Each game starts with randomly generated forces that can be anywhere between 1 and 9. Again, values always go lowest to highest from top left to bottom right. It is. Some sturdy looking bones start crumbling as soon as you touch them, and some are already in awful condition. I'd rather see a slightly dirty object intact than a clean broken one, if that makes sense. Yep, makes sense. The goal is to either match the target force or get within 4 points below it. If you go over, the object will break. Oh no, we don't want that! So don't push it if you feel it as soon as it will get. Is it me or did I just not... It's possible I wasn't paying too much attention to this, but it just seemed like nothing really different happened. Oh, you got... Oh, excuse me. Need to help another student. No problem, thanks, Hendrik. Now for the next one, and it's not a rock this time. Okay, Hendrik drifted away to answer questions from other students, while I gingerly unwrapped one of the items in a tinfoil. It's gonna be our first one without any help. It was a tiny tooth, well, at least of the lab one, with only minimal dirt attached to the root. At least it was an easy one to work with. I dunked a toothbrush into the water and began to scrub it. I guess we're not going to do any more mini games for this one. I dried it off and set it on the cloth, then uncapped the ink bottle and neatly dipped the nib into it. Gently, gently. I had barely touched the tooth with the nib when a giant splotch of ink dispersed and penetrated the root. It now resembled a squished black spider. Oh no! I've never used a nib pen before. It's gonna be some complications, I guess. I cleaned the nib and scraped the blotch the best I could. It seemed to work, but it's also scratched into the tooth. It's harder than it looks. I'm already missing the cave. Of course, this was where the real discoveries would take place, where everything was cataloged and identified for future examination. I would also be great for my lab work, so it wasn't something I could avoid entirely. Time to see if I can finish this one at least. I chose to do the cave and lab alternately between 2 days. You have a new find to excavate today. Good luck! Yay! Okay, check. Correct, well done. Yay! You unlocked a new journal entry. that. I never thought I'd struggle to figure out if something was bone or stone. I turned the thin brown piece in my hand while my thumb rubbed off some of the dirt attached to it. Luckily, it left an imprint in the soil so I could return it to its original context, but I did not want to measure something that would reveal to be worthless. I thought about asking Sherry, but I already pestered her with a million questions this morning, and she was helping the other students. Turning off my music, I glimpsed at Kyler. He was kneeling down and jotting something on his speech, using one of the protruding rocks as an improvised table. Clenching the unknown object, I wondered if I could ask him. Moreover, it would give me a chance to apologize on DeAndre's behalf. Oh yeah, kind of almost forgot about that. He was completely absorbed in his work though. Is he wearing like a constellation hoodie? Like, isn't that supposed to be Orion maybe? Cause it looks like a very human shape, right? Oh, that's so cool. I love his hoodie now. Oh, he might get a bit agitated, but I think it'd just be safer to ask, right? I tapped the rock surface next to the paper to get his attention, and he glanced up in response. Sensing a conversation, he raised his hand to his, I don't know how to pronounce it, implant and switched it on. Sorry to bother you, but I have a question. I held up the object and he placed the pen down. It felt like a victory that I captured his attention. What is it? I'm stuck playing the bone or stone game. What do you think? He extended his arm and I placed the item into his outstretched palm. He held it up to the heat lamp behind us. The silent anticipation was agonizing and not surprised. Was Kyler stumped on it as well? I heard something that something about licking it, and if your tongue, and if whether or not your tongue stuck to it or not, it'll be bone or a rock. I can't remember which one it's supposed to be, but I heard of that before. Just when I was about to inquire, he moved his hand to his mouth and pressed the object against his tongue nonchalantly. Oh my goodness. How do I keep just knowing what's gonna happen before it happens? I guess that's what happens when you go into something with at least some knowledge, even if it's not a lot. What? It's stone and not worth recording. You can toss it into the bucket. I reluctantly held out my hand as he dropped the slightly damn stone into my position. Ew! How did that work exactly? Or what about germs or viruses? Yeah, I feel like that's something we probably should be worried about in this day and age, but I don't think this takes place during what we're going through right now. But let's ask about how did that work exactly. How could you tell by doing that? Bone is porous and sticks to the tongue. This one didn't. I just said so! But I couldn't remember if it stuck to the tongue or not. But yeah, now we know. If you find something and you're not sure it's a bone, lick it. Unless it looks like it's obviously covered in blood and gross meat, then probably don't. Because, that is so gross. Oh, I get it. That makes sense. Does it really? I tossed the stone into the bucket. Thanks, Kyler. It'll definitely be handy if I'm stuck again. Be sure not to rely on it too heavily. Use your eyes and touch first. It's more of a last resort method. Sounds like good advice to me. As tempting as it was to cheat and look at a rediscovered object, it probably wasn't the most professional procedure to depend on. Oh, and there's one other thing. You seemed disappointed that I'd stalled his excavation. I heard about what happened last week. When DeAndre accidentally hit you with the rugby ball. Right. What about it? He apologized for it, that's all. An uneasy pause hung in the air, but then Kyler gave a tiny nod. I admit I reacted rather harshly with him. Oh, so we did choose a good option. Or maybe they both would have been kind of good options, just one would have gotten us closer to one guy instead of the other, maybe. It almost hit my implant. If it was an accident, I'll let him know I forgive him. Oh, okay, then it's understandable for him to be a bit angry about that. I mean, don't want to bust it or anything. You two seem close. Are you seeing each other? Oh no! He said the last words hesitantly. Not exactly dating, but similar. Less formal. Seeing each other or going out are both acceptable, and no, we're not doing that either. Oh! I guess his native language isn't English, so. Does it bother you, or teasingly ask if he's jealous? Is he the kind that would react to me trying to tease him? Or would he think that's weird? Or would it be too weird to ask to be all serious about this? I don't know. I feel like if the other guy I can be more teasing, but with him, not so much. Ugh. Does it bother you? Or, oh, I want to choose this one though. What, were you jealous when we kissed? Why would I be jealous? I barely know you or DeAndre. Sorry, it was a joke. It's definitely not that, if anything. I was concerned about Sherry. Hearing Kyler speak her name so freely surprised me. Wait, of course they know each other. This was his 4th time here, and Sherry visited yearly. I could imagine him seeing her as a mentor at this point. Why would he be concerned about Sherry? A few years ago, Sherry brought a student for the field school. This person got heavily involved with someone here. Anyway, one day, Sherry's student just vanished over the weekend. Sherry contacted her parents immediately, and they were furious. After some inquiring, someone mentioned that she may have left with one of the Belgian students who had planned a trip to Portugal. Oh, I guess this would be a serious thing, since this is a school thing after all. She didn't tell anyone, but I guess it was apparent to some of the more observant students. Like him. Basically, the student ditched the entire field school? Instant flunk. I wouldn't do anything like that. It wasn't exactly easy to get here in the first place. All these interviews, renewing my passport, saving up, convincing my parents. I chose this internship for the experience. I won't blow it or cause Sherry panic. She did place her trust in me after all. She's a good teacher. I agree. Ah! So was that the right option anyways? Okay. I clapped and conclude our conversation. Aw, he's smiling. I'm glad that was all clarified. Feel more relieved? Enlightened? Yes, I'm sorry for getting the wrong idea about you and DeAndre. Well, that explains why he might be concerned. It's fine, no more misunderstandings. It's cool again. Still, I felt progress had been made since Kyler had opened up a little. Yep. Let's save real quick. And I think that's a good place to stop. Learn some stuff about stuff. And we've gotten closer to Kyler. Oh, that's so awesome. But yeah. I think I'm still choosing DeAndre, but I still got hang out with everyone else to see, just to be sure. But Kyler isn't too bad himself. Well, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Even if something like, hey, how are you doing? I would love to answer that. And, you know, spark to, like, get some sort of conversation going on with anyone that is watching this. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is Caprinigh from Dungeon Port Studios, and signing off. Bye-bye!